This pink-colored house you see is located in the Serbian village of Ratovac. Serbia is a small but incredibly beautiful European country with a population of around 6.6 million. While this house may appear to be just an ordinary home, a place where we might even consider living, the events that unfolded inside are nothing short of horrifying. This is the story of Serbia's human slaughterhouse. The year was 2021 when Serbian police were conducting a search of this house. Inside one of the drawers, they discovered a secret door. As they entered through it, they found a hidden room. In this room stood a grinder, not meant for grinding goat meat or any other animal meat, but for human flesh. A gang resided in this house, kidnapping people, torturing them, dismembering their bodies, and then grinding the remains in this machine. Afterward, the minced human flesh was discarded into a nearby canal. During these acts, the gang would take pictures of the victims and post them online to instill fear in their enemies. Just imagine what went on in this house, all while the neighbors remained completely unaware of the gruesome activities taking place so close to them. This gang was also active on the dark web, where such activities are unfortunately common. Members of this gang would torture their enemies, take pictures and videos of the gruesome acts, and upload them to the dark web. They believed they were untouchable because they used an encrypted phone to post these images. This phone, along with its software, was manufactured by a Canadian company called Sky Global. The gang assumed that the encryption would prevent the police from tracking them. However, it was this very phone that led the police to their location. The software and devices created by Sky Global were often used for illicit activities, prompting law enforcement agencies to focus on cracking them for years. Meanwhile, this gang in Serbia began their horrifying acts, murdering people, dismembering their bodies, grinding the remains, and uploading the photos to the internet using these encrypted phones. They had no idea that police forces were actively working on infiltrating these devices. The breakthrough came when the gang continued to upload their horrific content using the Sky Global phone, allowing the police to pinpoint their location. This led the authorities to raid the pink house where the gang was operating. But who exactly was this gang? This gang was led by a man named Veljko Belivuc, a person so monstrous that the crimes he committed are chilling to even imagine. Veljko's gang was known as the Principi, and to fully understand their story, we need to look at the rivalry between two other Serbian gangs, Kavic and Scolari. These two gangs were arch enemies and were involved in all kinds of criminal activities across Serbia. From drug trafficking to violent confrontations, they were well equipped with everything from bombs to advanced weapons. Veljko's gang supported the Kavic gang and joined forces with them to fight against the Scolari gang. In this context of gang warfare, Veljko purchased a house in a Serbian village and chillingly named it the Slaughterhouse. The first murder in this house was particularly disturbing. The victim was the man you see in the image, someone who was not only a member of Veljko's gang, but also a close friend of his. Shockingly, Veljko brutally tortured his own friend in this house, dismembered his body, and fed the pieces into the grinder. He then took pictures of this gruesome act and posted them on the dark web. This marked the beginning of the horrifying atrocities carried out in the Slaughterhouse, a place that soon became infamous for its unimaginable horrors. Veljko believed that his friend had betrayed him, and in his twisted mind, betrayal deserved such a gruesome punishment. After torturing and dismembering the man, they disposed of his remains by throwing them into a nearby river. As mentioned earlier, the gang captured the entire crime in photos and videos, which they uploaded to the dark web and other secretive websites. The purpose of these horrifying posts was to instill fear in their rival gang, the Scolari. Following this initial incident, many others were brought to the slaughterhouse. These victims were subjected to similar horrific torture. The gang would closely monitor their targets, tracking their every movement. When the opportunity arose, they would kidnap these individuals and bring them to the house, where unspeakable acts of violence would take place. When the police finally traced and uncovered the activities of this gang, it became a national shock for Serbia. In a country with a population of just 6.6 million, such heinous crimes happening in secret were almost unfathomable. The news was so earth-shattering that the president of Serbia had to address the nation on television, reassuring the public and acknowledging the horrifying reality of the crimes. However, accusations have been leveled against the Serbian government itself, suggesting that they supported these gangs. It is even alleged that Veljko's gang was initially created under the direction of Serbian authorities. Before this, Veljko had been arrested for a prior murder. During that time, his phone fell into police hands, and when they examined his WhatsApp messages, they discovered his direct connections with several high-ranking officials in the Serbian police. These officials allegedly gave Veljko instructions on what to do and what not to do, essentially controlling his actions. Over time, Veljko acquired the infamous house and turned it into a hub for torturing victims, uploading their photos and videos to the internet and the dark web. This connection between Veljko and Serbian law enforcement caused massive public outrage. The pressure on the Serbian government increased significantly after this gruesome case was exposed. Eventually, the authorities arrested Veljko, but the damage had already been done. The house remains one of the most terrifying places in European history. The horrors that took place there still haunt the people of Serbia, serving as a chilling reminder of the atrocities committed under the guise of lawlessness and corruption.